What do we want?
Justice.
And when do we want it?
Now.
And what do we want?
Justice.
And when do we want it?
Now.
¿Y qué queremos?
Justicia.
¿Y cuándo la queremos?
Ahora.
¿Y qué queremos?
Justicia.
¿Y cuándo la queremos?
Ahora.
¿Y qué queremos?
Justicia.
We are very thankful to all of us that has been able to come here to show support to the family of Keita O'Neil. His mother is here, as well as his aunt. They've been fighting for justice for Keita. We want to make sure that we understand that we support so deeply this struggle for justice for Keita O'Neil, because we see it as a sign of a struggle for justice for all those that have been murdered by the police with total impunity. So these two ladies have done a tremendous amount of work to bring justice, and we would like you to welcome them and to listen to what they have to say to us today.
Thank you all for coming. Today, I'm really going to speak just a little bit, because I think it's more important today that you meet Keita O'Neil's mother, and we call him Icky. And this is my sister, my oldest sister, Judy O'Neil. She has a few words to say, and I would like to give you an update. Today, I have a meeting scheduled to meet with the Attorney General Bonta at 1:30, so we're going to be leaving a little early, because I definitely do not want to miss that appointment. And hopefully after he meets, because as strongly as we believe the evidence against this officer is, that he will take on the case. Let me introduce you to my sister, Judy O'Neil.
Thank you.
This journey has been long, and as you can see, my sister misses her son, and she's very present and thinks of him often, and I see her pain. And I'm hoping that Bonta sees you guys, see the media, and sees my sister and her pain, and that he'll take on this case. Because even though my nephew was a human being, he was a black man that was murdered. Let's not lose the focus. And all police are not bad, but there are some officers that put on that blue uniform with the intention to bring harm to other people that are black and brown men, and they need to be held accountable. So I do want to say I really appreciate my attorney, Brian Ford. He has been awesome in looking into my victim rights, because we do have rights. Sadly, the DA who is supposed to stand with you and represent you is supposed to tell you about your rights and supposed to support you and fight for your rights. And here we are fighting the district attorney's office. So this is a first, and hopefully this will show and give other people encouragement when they're a victim fighting for their rights as well, because we do have rights. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Ford. I represent the O'Neil family. We've been working very hard against this district attorney's office, trying to make sure that justice be done. We're glad that you're here today, because since it became clear that Brooke Jenkins and her administration is more interested in forgiving murderous cops than enforcing the law, we decided that we needed to take it up a notch and go to Mr. Bonta's office. Frankly, he's our last hope for justice in this case. We need his intervention, and therefore we need you here. We need you to make sure that he knows that this state, this city, the people of this great jurisdiction need his intervention to make sure that killer cops are held accountable, to make sure this prosecution does not become like many of the others that are swept under the rug of political expediency. This is a just prosecution. Christopher Samayoa should be taken to trial, and he should be convicted. We thank you for your support. Let me hear you one time say justice for Keita O'Neil.
Justice for Keita O'Neil.
Thank you.
Although we know very well, it has been explained in many ways that Mrs. Jenkins, the new district attorney of this city, came in as a district attorney in order to stop justice from happening, in order for us to be able to get the police to be held accountable for what they are doing to our people, our black and brown young men and women. We know why she's here, and obviously we can see that she proved what we've been denouncing by what she's doing to Keita O'Neil's case. We can see that she has no interest in justice. But we know something, that justice is only going to happen when we, the people, are organized and demand justice. We cannot give up. We need to have hundreds and thousands of people on the street to stop police brutality. We need to do that. We need to call the state Bata. We need to call his office and let him know that we are demanding that he take the case of Keita O'Neil, that if he believes in justice, that if he's saying the truth, he takes that case, because there's no way that Jenkin is going to do justice. She already pronounced herself and what she's going to do. She already said she's not going to do it. She already said it was a political case. She already did all the dirty work in order to stop justice from happening. So we need to call this guy and say, you got to do it. It is your job. And the people demand that you do it. We need to do that. We need to do that. That's why we're here today. And we are here today also to remember that Keita is not an accident. That's what the police does, that we have a lot of other people that have been murdered by the police with total impunity, and the police are walking the street, and they are a danger to our children. They are a danger to our black and brown children. And that's why we're here. Yes. And that's why there are other mothers here that want to express their pain as to what happened to the children, as well as the solidarity that they have with the children. We need to understand that we're fighting for the life of our children, not only for those who have died, but those who are out there on the street in danger of being killed by the police. Yes. I want to welcome the mother of Cleo Moore for a minute so she can talk. Her son was murdered also by the police.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cleo Moore, and I'm here today to represent the family of Keita O'Neil. My son is also murdered by Kenneth Chow, a San Francisco police officer. He is also on the list of Jenkins' people that she is planning. I can see it no other way. I've been going into the courtroom this is going into my second year of appearing in court, and Kenneth Chow has never appeared. He's one of the people that the district attorney that was just voted out of the city brought a manslaughter charge against Kenneth Chow. And I don't know what's going to happen with Sean. Sean's gone. I don't know whether she's going to drop the charges, but I believe she is, because they've procrastinated. This is going into the second year. Every month, my son, my oldest son, and I sat in that courtroom, and the attorney for Kenneth Chow says he doesn't have enough evidence. All the evidence that already been corrected, and we knew what the evidence was. But when she took office, she went out and campaigned, quit her job, worked, so she said. She didn't know she was being paid, but she got paid by the city for doing whatever dirty work she was doing to get Mr. Bodine out. I know that she knew I am a 40-year employee, registered nurse, retired from the city and county of San Francisco. My husband worked for 30 years. We gave our life to the city and county of San Francisco, and this is the things that we get. They protect killer cops, from the mayor on down to Jenkins to Mr. Scott, the chief of police. I got an apology for him on one meeting that I attended when all of us were there representing our children that had been killed. And he finally came over to me and said, "I'm sorry. Sorry is too late. Sorry is not enough." He needs to fire those killer cops. All police officers are not killer cops. Some police officers for the right thing. I come from a family of policemen. My father in Beaumont, Texas, was a constable. My brother was a deputy sheriff for the city and county of Beaumont, Texas. I'm not saying my son was perfect, but he got killed because he knocked supposedly on a wall between a house. So is that what the police officers do? They come out and they murder people because they knock on a wall? He was known to the San Francisco Police Department, and I'm not here today to speak for Sean. I'm here to support the O'Neil family. But I don't live in San Francisco. I own a home in San Francisco. I live in Daly City. Does that give killer cops the right to be able to just kill our young men for no reason? A knock on a wall, is that a way for someone to be murdered? And I didn't know my son was even shot. They would not tell us when we went to the home. I learned the next day from a reporter that my son had been shot and he was in surgery at San Francisco General Hospital. That's when I learned, 12 o'clock the next day after my son had been shot. He didn't die. He lived for 2 years, but his coroner's report says murder, homicide. Is a homicide different for a police officer than it is for anybody else? Killer cops need to get off of the police force.
All the families to unite, to understand that only the unity is going to bring justice. We need to understand that. The pain that every mother or sister or aunt or uncle or brother or son or daughter has for that child that has been taken away from them. And so that solidarity that we just heard from a mother that lost her son, in solidarity with a mother and an aunt that lost a son and a nephew, is powerful. It is very powerful for all of us to see that. I would like also say that these rallies, to me, are a way of showing that the people has power. Yes. Because we need to believe that they got that appointment because they have mobilized many people in favor of the struggle, so he has no other choice but to give her an appointment because of the power of the people behind this family. Yep. Let us remember that. Yeah. It doesn't come out of the goodness of the heart. Right. It comes out of a struggle on the street, or being on the street. That's what it has to be. We need to remember that. So I would like to ask a young group of young men and women that have been fighting for police brutality, and they are really mobilized by love. And many times we don't understand, where they're coming from. But they are the soul of the movement right now. Young people like that, black and brown young people that are trying to raise this. So I would like to ask somebody from F12 to come, please, and talk to us and address the crowd.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming out and supporting Keita O'Neil and all families impacted by police terrorism. Because that's what that is, it's police terrorism. We gotta take the word brutality out and put terrorism, because that's a human rights violation. It's not just civil rights. These are human rights violations. Where Keita got killed, rest in peace. I grew up 2 blocks from there. I grew up in Hunters Point. And when Mario Woods got killed, I hung out at that bus stop where he got killed. So it's very personal. I got nephews, I got nieces that hang out there. We must put the impacted families at the forefront. They are number one, not your personal agenda, not whatever political affiliation you got. It's the families that are impacted because they're the ones that are truly suffering. I'm hurt by these black men that have been killed. I'm hurt by these brown men that have been killed. I'm against violence, but I'm not against self-defense. We have the right to defend ourselves. That's why we are here. Rob Bonta and D.A. Jenkins are playing hot potato with this case. This is a black man's life, and his life matters. We're not tolerating that. I'm done with these politics, identity politics in San Francisco, because where's any of the Board of Supervisors here to stand in solidarity with the families? They were here across the street a couple weeks ago for a man in Memphis, Tennessee, rest in peace. But they will not hold any pig accountable in their own city and county. The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. We will not tolerate that. That's why we, as young folks, must build with the elders who've been doing this work for generations. They guide us, they empower us, they give us wisdom. They don't like blackmail us or try to gaslight us into doing what we're doing is wrong. We're for police accountability, but we're also for black and brown liberation. Power to the people.
Invite somebody that had been in many instances when nobody says a word about what's going on. He's always there. He'll come, whether he is by himself or with 3, 4, 5, or 20 or 50 people with him. And he is in the labor movement. He is one of the organizers of the Free Mumia movement, because there are political prisoners in this country, and especially black and brown, people from Puerto Rico. The oppression that we suffer is everywhere. But Steve, would you be willing to come here and say a few words as a labor organizer, as a man that always take a stand for those who we don't even know what's going on around, and he finds out and he let us know and mobilize us. Welcome, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. So we're here today on our continuing struggle to end the police murders of innocent people. And we're here today also to call out Brooke Jenkins, William Oberndorf. Remember that name, William Oberndorf. He's a billionaire who lives in San Francisco, who helped put her in power in collusion with the mayor, London Breed. Because London Breed's dirty hands is involved in her work. She represents the POA, the Police Officers Association. This is a corrupt, murderous organization that defends murderers in San Francisco. That's their business. They're not for justice, they're for keeping the murderers on the street. That's who they represent, the POA. And they're backed up by the mayor of San Francisco. The mayor helped put her in with the support of a billionaire, a racist, union-buster billionaire living in San Francisco, who also is for privatizing the schools in San Francisco, for more charters. This is not just about the murders of black youth, it's about gentrification, about the developers who want to clean out San Francisco of black and brown people. That's what this is about, profiteering off of kicking black and brown people out of San Francisco. In Hunters Point, Bayview, these people are poisoning people with cancer. They know that people are sick in Hunters Point, Bayview. What do they do about it? Nothing. Nothing. Because these politicians are corrupt through and through. We need a working class political party. We need a workers' party against these capitalist politicians, because they say that they can't do anything about this killer. Why is San Francisco paid $20 million in compensation for police murders, and these people are still in the police force? How can that be? How can you pay off people millions of dollars and you keep them on the police force? Is that justice? Is that justice? We have to put a stop to that, and we have to demand that Rob Bonta, who says that Brooke Jenkins has no reason not to prosecute. So the Attorney General of California is telling the people of California that he should be prosecuted. He should be prosecuted. And Rob Bonta better damn well prosecute this murderer. He better prosecute, because if he doesn't prosecute, he's complicit in covering this up. Rob Bonta is complicit in covering this up. We have to hold these politicians accountable. They know what they're doing. They know they're breaking the law. Brooke Jenkins knows. In fact, Rob Bonta should look into an investigation of her for taking money from a billionaire. You want to talk about justice? Where's the justice to prosecute her for illegally taking money to organize to get into office in San Francisco? Is that justice? Is that justice? Is that justice? So we've got to demand that Rob Bonta prosecute. We have to demand that these people be held accountable. We have to demand that every cop that's killed somebody illegally, improperly, they be fired immediately and prosecuted and put in prison. Because one of the things about, punishment and responsibility and accountability, if they don't go to jail, which they should go, what does that tell every other cop? You can get away with murder and nothing happens to you. You stay on the police force. That's what it tells every cop. And that's why in this country, they continue to murder people, because these police stay on the forces. They're not prosecuted. So we're having a fight here right in San Francisco, not just for us, but for every murder in the United States by these police. It's not just about San Francisco. There's systemic serial murders of people in this country every day, and they cover it up. And only when there's a picture is there a controversy. But they're getting away with it every day. We know that. We know that. So let's make an example. We have to say to Bonta, you prosecute, and if you don't prosecute, you're responsible for covering this up. We're saying it's got to stop. These murders, the systemic racism of the system has to end. And it's only going to end when we organize politically, when we organize the working class. And unfortunately, the leadership of the labor movement in San Francisco is with the police. In fact, Rudy Gonzalez, who's head of the building trades, he's out of the Teamsters Union, and they represent district attorneys. So his own union is representing the cops. And there's a caucus in his union to demand that they be expelled, that they not represent them. Why isn't the leadership of the Labor Council here? Why aren't the unions here? They need to be, because their members are being killed, their members are being harassed, their members are being terrorized. That's what's going on. Every day in San Francisco, there are racist acts. And the unions and the workers have to organize against it. We have to fight it on the streets. We have to have an education campaign, and we have to have strikes if necessary. The longshoremen have had work actions for Oscar Grant and other people that have been murdered. That's the kind of action that people are concerned about. When workers take out and strike and they shut the capitalists down, then they get concerned about their profits. That is the power, because that's what this is all about, power, working class power. So solidarity. We demand that Bonta prosecute, and this struggle is not ending, it's only beginning. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
I forgot to mention, I have Shaman Walton's personal cell phone number. I've been in contact with him in the past. So I did text him, and I have it if you want it, and it shows delivered, and he did not respond. I also emailed him. And I can give you that to his email. No response. Yet, he showed up for Tyree's event that was given by Felicia Jones, as you are aware, and Mayor London Breed was there, and he stood there. He stood by someone that they're micromanaging another state and saying that they need to hold their officers accountable. But yet in their own city that we live, they stand by the police. They will not hold them accountable for murdering our own black and brown men. So I'm calling Shaman out. This happened in his district. My nephew was murdered at Alice Griffin Park, and he hasn't showed up once, not even at his vigil, but he did text me back because he had his granddaughter's birthday party on that particular day. But he hasn't showed up for any events. He has my personal cell phone number, and I have his. To even say that he is there to support, what do we need? What does my family need? He has done nothing. He is as bad as London Breed. That's what I wanted to mention. Willing to give the text, willing to give the email, whoever wants it. This is really sad to me in the city of San Francisco that is supposed to be so liberal. That we have people that are of black race that is not even helping their own. And they're treating them worse than a white man. A white man named Chesa Boudin that brought the charges against the officer and was bold to do that. That was a bold step and may have cost him his election. So when we're looking at race, it doesn't matter to me who would have brought those charges. It could have been the green Martian from Mars. But I would have stood with that person who was bold enough to stand up against the police department for murdering a black and brown man. And I would have done it for a white man too. Any man should not be murdered at all, unjustly. Thank you.
Keita O'Neil, presente. Keita O'Neil. 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 Presente. Next. As I said, solidarity from all over is so important. The unity of the people that has been mistreated here, there, and everywhere. Puerto Rico. How many of you know about Puerto Rico? Yeah, we should know about Puerto Rico, right? The last colony of United States of North America. And they have a lot of political prisoners from Puerto Rico, as well as from the black, political revolutionary movements in this country. So we want to hear from that struggle. We want to hear that solidarity that is so important. Let's welcome this brother that has always been by all our struggles. Come here.
Good morning. My name is Ricardo Ortiz. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but I'm a resident of the city of San Francisco. And also, I work with labor and community organizations that are here present, close. I just want to say that we live in a terroristic state. If you are African American or Latino, the possibilities that you might end up in prison or killed are high, very high. This country that supposedly is democratic and criticize supposedly non-democratic regimes around the world has the honor of having more people in prison than any other country in the world. That is the United States. And predominantly, disproportionately, those like in prison are people of color, Latino, African American, and so on, and Native Americans. So the possibilities for you being a person of color to get killed by a cop in the streets are very high. And let me tell you, I'm also a veteran of the United States Army. I have service-related disabilities. And I fear the cops more than anything else in this country. Because we reach the fact that some cop at night can stop you and for any reason at all, blow you up. I have been profiled by cops, stopped by any reason, by no reason at all. And obviously they had to, let me go because it was no reason at all. But I mean, those moments were terrified. And anybody that goes through that experience, being a person of color, you wonder if you're gonna survive that instance. So this is not a joke. This is something really serious. And in this country, it is like a policy that cops, if they shoot somebody, automatically the victim is classified as a possible criminal. And we got to end that. We have to protest endlessly to put an end to that. But I want to say a few more things. We have seen cops killing people of color from every kind of political administration. Actually, most of the major cities in this country are run by Democratic Party mayors. And they, unfortunately, we trust that the Democratic Party, the oldest running capitalist party in the world, is gonna do something for us. And they will not. Because the Democratic Party is a party also of corporations, of the rich. Look, right now, as we are getting poorer and poorer, and we keep pushed out of the city, and we can barely survive, this administration is sending billions to the war in Ukraine. This is the Democratic Party administration. And they always, when they come into power, betray us. And unfortunately, we keep voting for them. And we got to put an end to that. We got to put an end to that. We got to form an alternative. We got to build our own party of the poor, of the workers, of people of color. We got to stop trusting all these ruling class politicians that they will and do sell us down the river. Let's face it. Let's face it. As we, people that are on Social Security, poor people can barely make it, they equip more and more the police forces in these countries. Actually, as time passes by, you can barely now distinguish the cops from the army. Now, the cops, they have armed personnel carriers. They are equipped with the latest small hands. They are equipped with automatic rifles. They are equipped with drones. So what is, this country always pointing the finger at, oh, that country over there in the third world is a dictatorship. It's a, military-run state. What about here? What about here? We are in a military-run state. That's what we are. And I tell you more information. A few years ago, a president, a Democratic Party president, Barack Obama, put the chief of the National Guard as a member of the Joint Chief of Staff. And ever since, the National Guard that supposedly is for, helping disasters, helping on disasters, etc. No, it's now in the command combat structure. What does that mean? That in case that we protest and there are massive demonstrations on this country, the National Guard will be combat ready to face us. People that are civilians, we are, civilians. I just want to end by saying the following. The only way that we are going to end and finish this campaign of organized terrorism is if we build a labor party, a workers' party, a socialist party, to get rid of this class capitalist system. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and lock the killer cops!
Okay, brothers and sisters, I want to say something, okay? And please, just listen to me. Let us hope that all of us who are here for justice for Keita O'Neil. Let us hope that all of us who are here want to get rid of the police right now and have something new, a new police department that is there to serve and protect all people, regardless of the color of the skin. Let us be here for justice. And let us be here to the importance of what the brother who was just speaking a few minutes ago was saying, the importance of organizing ourselves. Because what I noticed, there's a lot of political organizations that they said they are for you and then they screw you. and they use you. And they put politicians to speak for you. And then they get ready to the politician, and then you stop. And you did all this organizing, all this work, and some politician end up getting credit for it, when we really need to have the people to be able to continue organizing, because nothing will happen unless we are able to really organize the people. I know also that there is a petition in the website and also on the Facebook asking for the attorney to get to become the lawyer for the case of Keita. You know, that's really important. We're going to have that out. And like I said before, we are going to also call the phone number of that person. You know, I have really difficult time with the names of those famous people or political people. They really fly off my mind. I know Peter and George and Juan and Gloria and all that, but those other people, you know, it's like they give me headaches, you know, because all they do is betray us, you know. But we know that we need to call this. Can you say the name of the guy, please?
Rob Bonta.
Thank you, Rob Bonta. Okay, so call him and tell him that you demand that he take the case. That's what we're here for, right? We call them and we tell them that we demand that we take the case. We have a speaker, okay? As I was saying before, because everybody wants to do their own thing. But we got together and we organized this, right? It took time and effort. A lot of time and effort, brothers and sisters, to get 10 or 5 people. That's how it is. But as I was saying, we have organization, we have things like that. And I know that regardless of whatever differences people may have, right, we need to recognize those who are always at the front of the struggle, whether we agree or not. But they're there. So I want to ask Richard Becker to come, please, and talk to us really important about this issue, about the importance of our solidarity and how we need to mobilize. And we need to hear from everyone. Yeah. And we want a commitment from all those organizations that they will continue this struggle. Richard.
Thank you very much, Christina. And first of all, on behalf of the Answer Coalition, we want to express our condolences and our solidarity to the family of Keita O'Neil and to all the families in San Francisco who have suffered loss at the hands of the SFPD. And there are so many. You know, there are the politicians who love to tell us all the time that the USA is number one. US number one. Well, there is one category we know that the US is number one in, and it's police killings. Yeah. It's far, far, far and away any of the other industrially developed countries. I mean, it's like 50 times the number in England. It's similar for Germany. It's similar for many, many countries. In Cuba, which is not industrially developed and is trying, the police don't carry guns. And it's unheard of. And yet, you know, I think that in the US it's become like we've grown accustomed to it. And we can't grow accustomed to it. We have to fight it. We have to stop it. And I want to say one other thing too about being number one. This is an example of the worst kind of corruption, you know, and we hear corruption in other countries, but this is a kind of corruption that goes far beyond. It's the corruption of seeing someone from the district attorney's office lead a campaign to overturn the most progressive DA in U.S. history, I would say, and then becomes the district attorney themselves. I mean, think about what that really is. With the support of the whole power structure here in San Francisco, with the establishment, you know, the corruption is so deep, and we hear every day about, for instance, you know, not only police brutality, but that the largest cereal company in the United States for 3 years, knowing that it did it, continued to sell salmonella impacted cereal to people, and people got sick. Thousands and thousands of people got sick, and they got a fine. They got a fine for that. Somebody decided to keep selling salmonella infected cereal to people, but they don't go to jail. The corporations don't go to jail. The police, when they go to jail, it's so rare that people can hardly believe it. But we have to say this, that the families have a right to justice. And a part of that right to justice is that the killer cops need to be jailed. We can't say, well, the system will go away and, we'll have a new system. No, we have this system now, and in the context of this system, jail killer cops. Jail killer cops.
.ly/justice, the number 4, Keita, Keita.
Read that again.
bit.ly/justice, the number 4, Keita, Keita. And that's going to take you directly to a petition. And this petition, it sends an email directly to Rob Bonta's office. And we need him to know that there is pressure, not just from the people out here, but across this city, across the nation. People are watching. They are fighting for police accountability. They're demanding police accountability. And we're not going to let him just say, oh, it's politics to fight for justice when someone is murdered. And so, again, we're going to ask folks, we have until tomorrow to find out. And so we need you to fill out this petition, then share it to every single one of your friends. And we're hoping to have enough in by today by 5 p.m. 5 p.m. It is that short of a timeline. But in this short time, if we can see all these community members coming together and really see what we can turn around in just a week, we can do this by 5 p.m.
Yes!
Yes!
One more time.
Okay, one more time. It's B-I-T. You ready? Are you ready?
Slowly.
bit.ly/justice, the number 4, Keita, Keita. And that's bit.ly or bit.ly/justice for Keita. Please, please, please sign the petition today. Thank you.
Keep interrupting. This petition is from grassroots. This is from Sean King. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He has been so supportive of me. He would have been here today, but he's dealing with his own family emergency situation. But he definitely sends his support, and I really appreciate him because I'm asking him to take my voice. I'm not sure if you're aware that I have been diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. And I'm getting ready to start chemo in a few weeks. And so I need to focus on my health, but I don't want my voice to get lost. So I've been begging, that's why I'm begging Bonta to take on my nephew's case, because then I can rest. Because I need to rest and get prepared for the next few weeks. And while my voice is down, I don't want anything to change, because it seems every time I'm unfocused, then things start happening, and they're trying to cancel his case, and different things are happening when I'm not able to be vocal. I know it's because of the media. He's gotten so many thousands, I can't even count them at this point, of the pressure of the petitions going to Bonta. And I appreciate KIQI, is it? That is with Marco and them, the Spanish-speaking radio station that is the largest in Northern California, allowed me to speak. They are such a huge support, because this doesn't just affect black men, it definitely affects our brown men as well, our Latino community that are being murdered by our police. So I'm shouting out to them. They've been huge. The support has been tremendous. The people that are here today showing up, this is so touching to my sister and so emotional. And even for myself, it's not going unnoticed. Please get on the phone. Please, if the press could put it in their paper, put the website. It's time for us to come together as a community, as people, to show these political people that our feet can stomp. It's our feet that can walk the paths, that walks these streets. And it's time for them to see that power is in numbers and in feet. Thank you.
I believe so profoundly that we need to have to listen to the everyday person, those who are fighting on the ground, on the streets. I think it's a very powerful thing that we need to have, and we need to build, and we need to nourish. As a mother, I see that, you know. We need to nourish those that are fighting from the street, that are young, full of hope. You know, our time is coming, and it is okay, because we did what we had to do, and we will do it until the end. And we will be, and try to be a light in this struggle. And one of the things that I believe profoundly is in denouncing opportunists, and not to allow for opportunists to try to say, you know, that I'm here for justice, and they use you for political reasons, because they have their own political agenda, or because they, you know, they have political dreams. And I don't believe in this system. I know we need something else. Nothing is going to be just good for us. So I want to introduce this young man that has been in this struggle for some time right now. And I have seen him, and I say sometime because when I compare to my age, obviously, right? There's a difference. But it just gives me a lot of hope in the future when I see these young people here fighting for justice. Welcome, my love.
Keita O'Neil, say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Sean Moore, say his name. Say his name. Say his name. She said, I've been in the struggle for some time now. I was born in the struggle. You feel me? I was born afflicted. I've been affected and afflicted by police brutality and mass incarceration and wrongful incarceration. So I think she meant to say that I've been an advocate of those remaining in the struggle, as I do remain in the struggle, as every black and brown person here does remain in this struggle. And in using my what I've learned from what I've been through in my position of having superseded it to a degree, I will never be absolved of what I afflicted by in this system, but with my understanding and my ability to speak out, I do so graciously and with all of my heart to advocate for these families that are still going through the hardest parts of this shit. I ask you to say his name, and we are on this stage here saying their names, because less than a month ago, we were over at those steps where they refused to say their names. It was I would say the San Francisco black elite. You understand? Consider that the top positions in San Francisco are occupied. Those seats are occupied by black people. Yet black people, at this point in time, are considerably doing the worst that we have ever done in the history of San Francisco. Yet we occupy the top seats in San Francisco. Make it make sense. It does not make sense until you recognize that they are being weaponized. They are being weaponized by white supremacy, by something called identity politics. They make black people perpetuate white supremacy and victimize systemically black and brown people, but they got blackface behind it, so they make people be like, oh, it's not racist. Oh, that's not racist. Keita O'Neil, say his name. So they wanted to stand on that stage over there, and I was driven by the courage and the perseverance of Keita's auntie. She hit me up the day before that they took that stage. They said they won't allow me to say my nephew's name. They said they want to talk about Tyree, and God bless Tyree, and our hearts are with Memphis. But we got an issue here in San Francisco that we cannot turn a blind eye to. We have to say Keita O'Neil's name as we say Tyree's name, and the best thing that we can do for Tyree in Memphis is prove that we hold police accountable for Keita in San Francisco. Say his name. Say his name. Without that woman's courage in calling us and confronting the mayor, this woman got hard. This woman is fighting for their child right here. They confronted the mayor. She went up to the mayor and said, say my nephew's name. Say his name. Say his name. She said, you will say Tyree's name, but you won't say my nephew's name? Wait, my nephew is black too. Wait, hold up. Wait, there's a case pending against, for my nephew's killers as well. Hold up, there's a case pending against Tyree's killers? Oh, what, because they're black? Do you feel that black people have to speak up because the officers were black? Well, the officer that killed Mario Woods was black. Mario Woods, say his name. Say his name. And where are they at now? When we are saying that we need justice for Keita O'Neil, where are those politicians at now? They was big and tough and they was casting stones at Memphis. I heard a wise man say, hey, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. San Francisco is a glass house. Don't be throwing stones at Memphis. You can't clean your own motherfucking house. Say his name. Say his name. Hold up. So recognize that this issue is not just a one-off. These black men, as myself, I was almost killed by police. I was jailed and incarcerated by police wrongfully. This is not a one-off. This is systemic. This is something that is, there's no coincidence I'm a black man afflicted and their children are black men. This is not a coincidence. And the politicians that you see that are insulating these officers, that is not coincidental. Recognize that this is all by design. Chesa Boudin was the first DA in San Francisco history to put charges on a police officer, and he was subsequently and immediately revoked of his position here in San Francisco because of that. We let the Republicans dictate our politics. Most of the money that got Chesa out of San Francisco didn't even come from San Francisco. It just came from police pig sympathizers and Republicans and billionaires. Recognize what's going on here. Recognize that they're trying to dictate our streets. None of those petitioners was from San Francisco. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Take your time, brother. Take your time.
All those politicians, a lot of them, a few of those supervisors, when Chesa was fighting the recall, what they do? They chummed up next to Chesa. Hey, stand against the recall. Where they at now? They taking pictures with the DA now. The same politicians. And they won't stand with us. They want to stand on that stage. Where are all the black nonprofits too? I want to call out because I don't see any of them here. Where are the black nonprofit executive directors? Where they at? I don't see any of them. I seen all of them over there for Tyree. I don't see any of them here though. What's going on? When you get in that city money, there's an incentive to shut the fuck up about police violence in San Francisco. Hold up. All those supervisors that we seen standing with Chesa, where they at though? So recognize, this is not a one-off. This isn't a one bad cop situation. This is a racist systemic issue, and we need to galvanize people power. Because the only time his voice gets recognized is not when the city does it. We seen what the city do. The city told the family they can't say their child's name. So we gotta say their child's name. Keita O'Neil, say his name. Say his name. Sean Moore, say his name. Say his name. Mario Woods, say his name. Say his name. Alex Nieto, say his name. We can't get those politicians to say their names, so we gotta leverage people power. We gotta volunteer our own strengths and abilities because we see what the city money do. That's my word.
Video.
Of all people, from those who are on the street fighting every day. That's important, the message. I hope that we grab that message and put it in our hearts because it's powerful. We have an expert on Equipto. Some of you know him, but we want to welcome him to give us some words about what we must do in light of what's going on in this city and in this country and in the world.
I just want to talk to y'all. You know what I mean? Can I talk to y'all?
Yeah.
I want to talk to y'all just like I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? And share what I'm thinking and what I'm going through, right? Because like we are, you know, I'm younger, but I'm not young, right? But young people fuck with me. You can take that after me. I said that because I don't like the media anyway. But, you know, and that's a blessing, right? To do that. But I want to talk to y'all first I want to like commend, you know what I mean, and applaud everybody here, for real, because that's, you know, it's not easy, I understand, in this society, and to be distracted and have a job and do things on a Monday morning. But that's the incentive, right? That's kind of where we're going with this. Is kind of where I'm going with this, talking to y'all. I'm just chopping it, right? So none of us, young, older, have a long time here. Y'all know that?
Amen.
None of us are guaranteed tomorrow, and none of us, even if we get to our old age, it's not long. Life is fleeting. To be a part of life itself and to witness history, little things in history, whether it be sports, whether it be tragic, whether it be triumphant, we all witness history within our lifetime. Through our small lifetime, moments of history come, you feel me?
Yeah.
What we're witnessing in San Francisco is history. With this DA that, let's start with Chesa and the people power that got him in office, and denounced Susie Loftus and made it hell for her to even run, because she would have won hands down if it wasn't for the people for getting Chesa in office. This is not a political endorsement, understand, I'm talking facts and truth and timeline.
Yes.
From there, like Brother Dro had said, a lot of people that weren't from San Francisco, Republicans, even Democrats, all type of people started trying to recall Chesa, right? By the numbers, by the money, by, you know, a lot of quote unquote bullshit people power. Let's say that's bullshit people power, but they got that shit done. You understand? That's our job, right? Our job now. Everyone here, that's why I commend everybody here. We have a job and a duty now to spread that game, to spread to everybody what's going on, because if it was George Floyd and we had all this lawn covered with people, that DA would have no choice but to make the right decision. So that is our duty, right? I think, you know, I'm a father now. I have a baby girl, and it's hard for me not even to say, because all she does is stay on my mind. So she's Japanese, she's Colombian, and she's indigenous. And I know, even without her affiliation of her father, her grandmother, even if she didn't speak out, she would be a target. So there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of my daughter and what kind of society she's gonna live in the future and what we're building for. What type of shit is she gonna face, you know? And at the end of the day, the only thing that overcomes all that is love. And it might sound corny, it might sound, you know, a little like, you know, whatever, but it's true, because we fight for love. We fight for love. Everything out here, the families out here, is because we fight and we have love in our heart. So I might have doubts on certain things about how this society is and how a capitalistic society runs and what my daughter might face and our future children might face, but one thing I know for sure, it might not be in my lifetime, it might not even be in hers, because life is fleeting, but we will win, y'all. We will win. 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 Thank y'all.
That we can end up the mother and the aunt, you know, they had to go to the appointment with that lawyer, whatever, Bonta, his name is, and they had to prepare for that. And we need to keep on calling and keep doing everything. I just want to say that not let anybody use us, because then we lose faith in the struggle. I know that it is a man who took a stand for all of us. Mumia Bujama. He took a stand for all of us. And he's in jail, accused of murdering somebody, because he took a stand not only for black people, but for people all over the world. So we need to link all these struggles. Because if not, I'm running to the demonstration for Mario Wood, for Alex Nieto, for Keita O'Neil, for this, and we said, what happened? And then in Peru, the invasion of Peru, then we see that. Then how about Palestine?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's everywhere, and so many struggles, and we have only one body. But this body is strong if we are able to get all those struggles into one and form an organization, a political group that is able to fight all these things all together and put an end to it. That's the only way to do it. Because then we're going to wipe out if not. So with Mumia, that is in jail for over 40 years or 40 years. He was on death row for quite some time. Then the people got him off red road. We must remember that. The people got him off that road. It was the people's struggle. And a lot of us who are here were part of that, right? That's a good thing. Now on March 11, correct? At 10 o'clock. There's going to be a beautiful presentation that will, if we pack that room, we'll be able to maybe have that man free. If we do things like that. You have more leaflets, Carol, there, so that you can distribute those leaflets and you can be there, fighting for justice, so that we can all unite. He's a black man who is giving his freedom, for my freedom, for you freedom, for all of our freedom. So we need to take a stand for him. And when we take a stand for him, we're taking a stand for Mario Wood, and for Alex Nieto, and for Keita O'Neil, and for Jessica Williams, because it's one struggle, brothers and sisters. What do we want? Justice. And when do we want it? Now. And what do we want? Justice. And when do we want it? Now. And what do we want? Justice. And when do we want it? Now.
I no longer live in San Francisco. I was a resident of San Francisco for more than 30 years. And I have to say, to see the gentrification of all the working class neighborhoods and the militarization of the police breaks my heart and makes me furious. In the words of the longshoreman, an injury to one is an injury to all.
Yes.
And if Bonta does not come forward, we need more people in the streets. We need them in Sacramento if he doesn't come forward. I hung out last fall for 30 days at a vigil with the United Farm Workers. It took way too long, 30 days, but Newsom came out and signed the bill.
How do you spell murder? S-F-E-E. And 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 we need to say that the POAs need to be shut down, because that's not a union. It's nothing but a nest of Ku Klux Klaners. POA, shut it down. POA.